Hey guys, it is Wednesday, and so today we are going to follow up on what Miss Gorgoni was teaching you yesterday, which was how to create a frequency chart, or we call it a table. And today I am going to take the information that you created yesterday, and we are going to extend the lesson and learn how to use that information to make a dot plot, which is another way to organize data. So, yesterday you got to talk about the number of pieces of candy in a bag. So, anytime you buy a bag of candy, if I buy the same bag, you buy the same kind, we open it up, you may have 2 or 3 more pieces than I do. So, let's look at our frequency table from yesterday that you completed with Miss Gorgoni. So the number of pieces of candy in a bag. There was one bag that had 15, 2 bags had 16, etc. And a few lucky people had a bag with 21 pieces, didn't they? So once you did your tally marks, you created your frequency chart, which is basically the same exact thing as your tallies. It's just in standard form. So let's use this information from our frequency table to create a dot plot. So this is our title. That's very important to pay attention to your labels. That's going to help you understand when you get to have to answer questions about graphs. You need to pay attention to your labels. And down here, we're going to call this the bags of candy. So a dot plot is basically information that's organized using a number line. Number lines are so powerful and so important in math. We use them for everything. So let's start with our number line. So our lowest or least amount is 15. So I'm going to make a little mark here and we're going to label that 15 pieces of candy. And we're going to continue. We have 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 pieces of candy. So now, dot plots you can use, of course, dots or circles. Some people use X's, so you'll see them in many different ways. But today we're just going to do circles. So, how often did a bag of candy have 15 pieces? One time. So, we are going to put one circle. 16, there were 2 bags that had 16 pieces of candy. How many had 17? We can look up here and we need 3. How many had 18? There were 5 bags with 18 pieces of candy. How many had 19? If we look up here, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many had 20? 2 bags. And the luckiest person got 21 pieces of candy in their bag, and there was just one person. All right, so this is what your dot plot looks like. Same exact information, just represented in a different way. Okay, let's do another one. And we'll have questions this time. Let me set this aside and let's look at this page. Let's create a dot plot for the different sizes of nails that we have in a toolbox. So if I go in my garage and look at my toolbox, I've got a bunch of stuff. It's not very organized. So the main thing is let's organize it so that we have them in order from least to greatest before we create our dot plot on our number line. And if you notice, we have fractions and whole numbers and mixed numbers. So we're going to order these from least to greatest. So let's look at the nail sizes that we have. We have 20 different nails, I believe, 20 or 18. And we have 1/2, that's a small nail. Anything less than 1/2 that you see, 3/4 is greater than 1/2 because it's almost a whole. 1/4, what do we know about 1/4? It's closer to 0. So 1/4 is going to be our smallest size nail. So we're going to label 1/4. And as I do that, I am going to cross it out. And there's another one that says 1/4 or 1/4 inch. Here's another one. And do you see any more? I think we're good. After 1/4 would be 1/2. So there's 1/2. Yeah, there's another 1/2 inch. There's another 1/2. There's another 1/2 and one more 1/2. Let's quickly look to see if we did not miss one. All right, we can go on to the next size now, which is going to be 3/4, which is closest to 1/2. So we got 3/4, or as your dad might say, 3/4 of an inch. And I think that is the only one that says 3/4. The next size would have to be 1/2. So we're going to go, there's 1/2, 1 inch, 1 inch. All right, do we have 1 1/4 inch? Yep, 1 1/4 inch. Is there any more? No. Okay, the next size would be 1 1/2 inch. And then the next size up would be 1 3/4 inches. And there's another 1 3/4 of an inch. And then we have 2 inches, 2 inches, and 2 inches. So now I have my information organized in least to greatest. So let's use this data here to create our dot plot. So again, we're going to start off with a number line, and I've already have my labels, my nail sizes, and these are the sizes. We're going to start with the smallest size, which is 1/4 or 1/4 inch. And then we have 1/2 of an inch. And then we have 3/4 inches. And nails that are 1 inch. And then we have 1 1/4 inch. 1 1/2. 1 3/4. And last is 2 inches. So what do we need to do now? We're going to go back to our organized data up here and create the dot plot. All right, how many 1/4 inch nails do we have? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. How many are 1/2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many are 3/4 of an inch? Just 1. How many nails are 1 inch each? 1, 2, 3. How many are 1 1/4 of an inch? Just 1. How many are 1 1/2? Again, we just have 1. How many are 1 3/4 inch? 1, 2. And how many nails do we have that are exactly 2 inches? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we're going to answer some questions because really, in 4th grade, you're expected to be able to represent the data, which is what Ms. Gorgoni and I taught you how to do. And then you have to be able to answer 1- and 2-step questions using these charts and this data. All right, let me get my dry erase board here. And I'm going to move this up here so you can see it. And I'm going to read a question to you. The first question says, what is the minimum or the smallest number? Oops, that is not it. Where is my nail question? That was the candy questions. I am so sorry. Miss Patty is supposed to be organized. Nope, not. Okay. How many nails are at least 1 1/4 inch long? All right. So let's look for 1 1/4 inch long. There it is. And how many nails do we have, boys and girls? 1 or uno. Just 1 nail. So that was a quick 1-step question. How many nails are between 1 and 2 inches? So when it says between, is 1 between 1? So can we count 1 as being between? So if we want something between 1 and 2, that's not including 1 or including 2. It's everything in between. So we're going to count this one, and this one because these are between 1 and 2 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 nails between 1 and 2 inches. All right? We've got 2 more questions. What is the most frequent measurement? Do you know what frequent means? It occurs more often, kind of like your frequency table. How often an event occurred. So let's label and count. This one has 3, so I always like to do this too. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1, 3, 1, 1, 2, and this has 4. So which one occurred most frequently? The nail size, 1/2 of an inch. Okay. And it says how many nails were plotted for this measurement? Well, we have 5 nails plotted. A nail that was 1 2/4 inches was found on my floor. I forgot to put it on my plot, so I found it on the floor. Can this nail be plotted on the dot plot? Where could we put 1 2/4? So let's think about 2/4. Can you think of a fraction that is equivalent to 2/4? Well, if you noticed, 4/4 is a whole and 2/4 is half of a whole. So where could we put 1 2/4? Because we know it's equivalent or the same as 1 1/2. So we could go and put it back on our dot plot since I found it on the floor. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed spending your morning or afternoon or evening, whatever time it is you're doing this. I just enjoy getting to talk to you and spend some time with you. Enjoy your week, and thank you for coming and doing your lessons with me and Miss Gorgoni and Miss Rodriguez. Have a good day. Bye, guys.